Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alfany. Let me move this lamp back. Why is this lamp so bright? Sometimes it seems, other times it seems dull. Anyway, let's get to this article right here on the cryptoglobe.com. I hope you all had a fantastic day. Shout out to Dr. Slimeball, Akareko, Asti, Love Life 22, Matthew. Shout out to everybody. I appreciate every single one of you. It begins here. Versan Aljara, the founder of Black Swan Capitalist and well-known YouTuber, believes that the real value of XRP transcends charts. Yes, I agree with that. Says Aljara's faith in XRP remains unshaken. I think as does anybody who knows what XRP can really do, but let's keep going. Says even as the cryptocurrency dipped below the 70-cent mark recently. Lo siento. It dipped below 70. So my heart. Not worried about that at all. As you see, listen, everything's looking good. That's all I have to say about that. Let's keep going. It says, to support his viewpoint, he shared a video clip featuring Raoul Pal, the CEO and founder of Real Vision. The dip in XRP's value comes in the wake of a landmark ruling that we know about. Says, which saw the cryptocurrency surge to 85 cents. You haven't seen anything yet. There's going to be profit taking. You had the FOMC meeting today. You have a lot of things going on. You have liquidity drains going on in various markets because of various reasons. Nothing to worry about at all, in my humble opinion. But I mean, I think you see that, right? It says here, led to a drop in XRP's price to 67 cents. Despite this, Aljara remains steadfast in his belief in XRP's inherent value. Like if you just watch the videos I released recently, you see that they even deployed the first stable coin, right, for Palau on the XRPL. I mean, they have a lot of other big projects they're going after. You see that they have incentive for XRP's price to skyrocket, right? As we just covered that article yesterday about if XRP went to $35, that it would negate any fines that they would receive if they're going to be receiving fines from the SEC, that is, right? So, once again, everything is looking good in my humble opinion. It says here, Powell, like Aljara, sees that the value of XRP is more than just a speculative asset. It's much more than that. Much more. But hey, says he argues that XRP's high valuation is not merely due to market speculation, but rooted in its utility. Of course, payment channels, tokenization of everything is coming in hot. If you see what's going on now, lack of trust in the banking system. The trust in the banking system is at an all-time low. It continues to be that way. They've even had problems with the banks as of today or the last few days. If you saw the articles coming out about certain things happening with deposits, and I'm not talking about the frozen ones. I'm not even talking about that, right? So the banking system is continuing to rock back and forth like a house of cards. And, they're going to need the new financial system. If you ask me, they're doing very bad right now. Just keep up with the research on what's going on with the banks. You'll understand what I'm talking about. So now let's continue on here. Scroll down. It says, looking ahead, Powell anticipates a further increase in XRP's value once the Ripple lawsuit reaches its conclusion, talking about with the SEC. While Judge Torres' recent summary judgment was a significant development, speculation is rife that the case may proceed to the second court. I don't know about that. And we've heard Ripple respond to that. I think their response was suitable about how long that would possibly take. And also it was just confirmed, everything that has already been given or issued by the Honorable Judge Annalisa Torres, in my humble opinion. But we'll see how things go. I'll leave that into the legal experts' hands, right? So now, okay, I want to stop there. This is a good article, by the way, on the cryptoglobe.com. If you want to read the rest, head over there, check it out. Let's move here. All right. More. We just keep getting the good news in. I'm having fun with this right now. This article here is on zcrypto.com, and it is titled XRP's. I don't know where that came from. XRP price to $10 by September. Woo. Is it possible? Yes. Do I think it'll happen that fast? I'm not sure. I'll take it if it does. It says market watchers outline bullish trajectory amid Ripple's big win. Let's see what they're talking about. Let's just take in this information. According to market watchers, XRP price could, not financial advice, right? This is just opinion. XRP price could hit $10 this year. I'll take it. This is not based on underlying fundamentals, but rather on technical chart analysis. So this one here, we've gotten a lot of price predictions as of recent that were based on utility and catalysts like partnerships and such. This here is just based on just charts. Okay. So according to past trends, the price could reach $1.70 early this quarter, which will be lovely. $6 in August and over $10 in September if the monthly percentage sees the same trajectory as in the past. I think everything is based off of utility, catalyst, partnerships. That's how I see it. Sure, could there be a speculation pump? Could could small companies get in and start buying a little bit up and push the price up? Sure. Could groups of individuals push the price up? Sure. But I'm looking for that utility. I'm looking for those banks. I think that's really when we're going to start seeing the price skyrocket. And right now, I'm satisfied with how fast Ripple is moving and Volante and others building on the XRPL. They're moving at a breakneck pace. So it's just a matter of time. I don't think it's going to be that long. But anyway, it says, however, it should be noted that technical analysis uses chart patterns based on historical data to predict the future. Not surprisingly, this method has its flaws that we know. Don't need to go there. Says, while this price prediction seems a massive move from the current 70 cents, it would still be far from another target some have. So, oh, wow. Okay. I don't know why they just jumped from that to the 589. A lot of people do have that number, 589. We know why, right? We don't need to go into that. I can respect everybody's different beliefs. If it goes to 589, I take it. It's as simple as that. I'm not putting a limitation on XRP. They're not going to get me to do that. Not going to happen. Wherever it goes, I'm happy with that. But with that bank money, sky's the limit. Who knows? There's nothing has ever been able to move the type of capital that XRP can move. And given the problems, we're going to get into something in a later chapter, by the way, that has to do with Zelle. We know Fed now is pretty much Zelle on steroids. So if Zelle is having certain issues or problems, then Fed now can have those same problems. This is what I'm talking about. They're still behind the curve. We're still in the driver's seat. When it comes to cross-border payments, I say payments outright. You want to be honest? And you're going to understand why. Traceability. Where's that money? It's not about the companies asking. It's not about the government asking. Although, yeah, they love traceability. Also, the people want to know, where is that money? You'll understand later on, right? So now, let's move on to another article here. How you guys doing out there? You doing okay out there? Doing well? Staying healthy and everything? Okay. All right. Having some good time, some laughs, balancing the day out. I know it can be difficult. All right. But anyway, this article here is from U.Today. And it's titled XRP Ruling Irks Prominent Congressman. Is that so? Let's find out why. It says a recent ruling on the Ripple case, which declared the cryptocurrency XRP as, quote, sometimes a security and sometimes not, unquote. Well, they're paraphrasing heavily, I might add, but let's keep going. It says, has drawn sharp criticism from Congressman Brad Sherman. Who is Brad Sherman? I don't know all of these politicians. I'm not going to pretend to. Let's keep reading. It says, known as one of the most vocal critics of cryptocurrency within Congress. I've never heard of this person before. Not that, I mean, why should I respect this person's opinion? I'm trying to understand that. What's their background? Well, let's keep reading. Maybe they'll key me in. It says, within Congress, Sherman labeled the verdict ridiculous. Is this person a former lawyer? Are you a lawyer, sir? Not that that means I have to respect your opinion. Are you privy to the technology? Have you read all the white papers? Have you spoken to the experts for you to take such a position? Probably not, right? It says, quote, ridiculous during a Wednesday congressional hearing. This condemnation comes as part of Sherman's broader critique of the crypto industry, which he has frequently associated with negative activities. I'll just put it that way. Really. A lot of people in politics are associated with negative activities, taking money behind the scenes, doing very corrupt activities. Do you still associate with them, sir? Okay, so the hypocrisy must be heavy here. What are your associations? Who have you had meetings with in the industry? Who are your donors? Should we ask those questions? All right. It says, in the same hearing, Sherman expresses views on the purpose of cryptocurrencies, arguing that they primarily serve those looking to commit. This is a negative article. This we do not need to know. Listen, I'll put it this way. We will continue to be victorious. We do not have to stoop down to the dark levels of individuals with these clouded, convoluted mind states that exist in negativity and seek to bring down the people and keep them underfoot. Not at all. what we're going to do is continue to shine a light, pave a pathway, win through the legal system, right? Fairly, and push to have those wins, those precedents that have been set, respected. Right now, what they're doing, they're hurting themselves by showing a lack of respect from a respected judge. Let them continue to hurt themselves. Many powerful individuals, many brilliant individuals as well, and many people from top to bottom are taking note that certain individuals do not respect the law, even though they called on the law. The law must be respected across the board. That's how I see it. So individuals like this, I'm just going to wipe my shoulder off of them, and we're going to continue to keep our chin high and surge forward. That's what we're going to do. All right. So now, but it's not news to us that we have enemies. There's always going to be an enemy. There is a flip side to every shield. There's two edges to a blade, right? Blade cuts both ways. We understand that. So this article here is from the cryptobasic.com, and it's titled Reuters Spotlights XRP as Unexpected Force Propelling Altcoin Market. Let's just read this little tidbit here. It says, top news agency Reuters highlights XRP's significant impact on the altcoin market and broader crypto landscape following the recent U.S. court ruling. This is according to a recent report by Reuters. XRP has emerged as an unexpected force in the crypto market, thwarting regulatory challenges and reigniting investor interest, right? It's very powerful. It says specifically the date the U.S. court ruled XRP's non-security status saw the digital asset rise over 87%. Now, what's significant here is just that Reuters is covering this. That's going to bring a lot of new eyes to the market, a lot of new eyes to XRP. And if those people do a little bit of research, they're going to find that XRP is safe and they could bring some more money. And not just, I don't mean individuals, I mean businesses, more banks. If they're not privy, I'm pretty sure most banks are privy of this, but those B2B payments, I definitely want to dominate there. So we need to bring in all the businesses that we can, medium to large size. Even small businesses can benefit. I'm not sure how far they want to go setting up certain infrastructures. I think that will be wise as well. I think in the future, a lot of businesses will be able to accept not just Bitcoin as payment through their card readers and such, but should also be able to accept other currencies that are cleared like XRP, right? Much cheaper. XLM, put that on the list, right? Much cheaper. So this is very good. This is great advertising, in my humble opinion. When you have these large companies covering an asset or product of yours, is great advertising. That's how I look at that. So now let's move on to another article here. So I wanted to just put this on your table so you all can stay privy to this. This is from thedailyhodl.com, and it's titled, New Law Requiring U.S. Citizens to Report Crypto Payments Worth $10,000 Coming Soon. 10,000? Like, why? It's such a small amount. Why? Anyway, let's read this little tidbit, find out what's going on. It says, a new U.S. law requiring citizens to report crypto payments worth more than $10,000 is primed to take effect in January after a legal challenge to the requirement was swatted down in court last week. The legal challenge began last year when the crypto advocacy group Coin Center and a handful of other plaintiffs sued the U.S. Treasury Department and the Internal Revenue Service over a 2021 amendment to Section 60501 of the tax code. The amendment will require citizens who receive crypto payments of $10,000 or more to report the transaction and the personally identifiable information of the sender to the government. They have to clarify that a little bit more, right? So let's say you're just sending money to a friend and it's over $10,000 to your mother or to your father or something like that, uncle, aunt, whatever. Are they specifically talking about like company payments? They're just talking about $10,000 outright. All right. Well, anything over $10,000. I just need a little bit more clarification. Let's continue on here. It says Coin Center argued in its lawsuit that the new requirement would force the disclosure of, quote, intrusive details, unquote. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of crypto is supposed to be like digital cash, right? Anyway, says so a lot of information should be kept anonymous. Let's keep going. Maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. Others will definitely correct me if I am. It says, as well as reveal other transactions the person may have made due to the nature of crypto's public ledger. See, this is what I'm talking about. You see, and that's what I was trying to get at. I'm like, wait, that exposes a bit of information. It says, quote, the reports required by the reporting mandate would therefore uncover a detailed picture of a person's personal activities. And this is why they were against privacy coins. Remember, they started attacking privacy coins? I mean, for a while now, it's gone quiet. I'm not sure what the updates on that are, but it says, including intimate and expressive activities far beyond the immediate scope of the mandate. The reports would give the government an unprecedented level of detail about transactions. Now I see why it was swatted down, them going against this, right? And this is what people have a problem with when it comes to CBDCs as well, is the lack of anonymity, right? With what you're doing with your capital. Let's keep going here. And don't get me wrong, I'll take their money. We're going to take their money because they're going to issue these things, whether people like it or not. That's why we might as well make trillions off of this, trillions, billions, whatever it's going to be, whether you're a company or an individual, right? Make a ton of capital off of this, but it doesn't negate the arguments that some people have or problems that they have with it. Not that matters to governments and central banks at all, because it doesn't. Anyway, let's continue on here. It says unprecedented level of detail about transactions within a realm where users have taken a series of steps to protect their transactional privacy. The presiding U.S. judge in Kentucky, however, dismissed the lawsuit last week, calling it, quote, premature. Okay. If the court, quote, declines to reach plaintiffs' claim that Congress exceeded its enumerated powers, plaintiffs are unlikely to face significant hardship as a result. The amended 60501 will not require plaintiffs to disclose information until 2024. All right. And regardless, plaintiffs have not submitted any plausible allegation from which the court can conclude that the government will use the information disclosed to implement a surveillance regime to track their other unrelated transactions. Since when has this particular entity not overstepped? I have to say it like that. I gotta be careful on YouTube because they'd be harsh with the channel. I'll tell you that much right now. But when have they not overstepped should be the real question. This factor also weighs against judicial review and a finding of ripeness. That's a very peculiar wording. Okay. So this is definitely something to keep up with. It definitely is. But listen, why wouldn't people could just split up the payments, split them up to keep them below 10,000. There's always going to be a way, it's a little bit more tedious to do things in a certain way. But I mean, all of these different regulations and that do nothing really. They really don't help anything. Yeah. I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's move on. Let's move on here. A little bit of stellar news. All right. Everything continues to look good. Let's keep moving forward in strength. So this was tweeted out here by Stellar. It says the Stellar network leads total off-ramp locations by asset. All right. And if you scroll down here, it says asset XLM, blockchain Stellar, off-ramp locations, 26,221. Wow. Okay. So Stellar continues to do very well. Let's move on here. We have a little bit more Stellar related news. All right. So this is from coindesk.com. And the article is titled Stellar, Ripple, and Solana based investment funds see AUM spike in July. It says assets under management for investment funds linked to Stellar's XLM, Ripple's XRP, and Solana's SOL surged higher in July, according to a report from CC Data. It says AUM for XLM based products increased 62.7% to 17.3 million. Among those funds is Grayscale Stellar Lumens Trust, XLM, whose premium to net asset value surged 330%, said CC Data. XRP-based products recorded 33.2% increase in AUM in July to 65.7 million. All right. And then, of course, you have Solana, but we don't really discuss Solana too much here. I do believe Solana has a bright future. So now let's move on here to another little bit of XLM news, Stellar news. So this article here is from stellar.org, and it's titled "Bigger is Better: Why Stellar is the Leader in Cash to Crypto on and Off Ramps." So let's go down here. I mean, look, Stellar's just dominating at this point. I look forward to seeing what's going to be occurring in 2024. This is at the Stellar Development Foundation. And I say that because, look, MiCA is rolling out in Europe. MiCA legislation, regulations. And we have deep, deep roots in Europe, right? So at the Stellar Development Foundation, we like to talk about interoperability. You know, that's been all the rage. We covered an article the other day talking about a multi-trillion dollar earthquake is coming to Wall Street. That's why I titled the video that. I've been choosing a lot of titles from the actual titles of articles, so it's a little bit more accurate to what's being covered, right? So who's deep in, and I said this, and somebody called it, I think it was it Mark Brown, I think may have said this. Well, who's deep in New York? Who had a regulatory agency declare it a currency years ago in New York? In addition to having deep roots in New York, Stellar. So when we're reading articles that say that there's a multi-trillion-dollar earthquake coming to Wall Street, I think, and there's no guarantee, but I think that Stellar's in a great position, in my humble opinion. And what were they talking about in that article? Primarily, interoperability. We're talking about two things: interoperability and the moving of capital, right? In combination with the tokenization of everything. And here you have Stellar talking about interoperability, specifically leading off with that. But let's keep going. It says, we like to talk about interoperability on the Stellar network. More specifically, the network's ability to connect the fiat economy to the digital economy so that value can flow between them quickly, affordably, and seamlessly. Does this sound familiar? It sounds a lot like what they were saying in that article the other day. You have to be privy to this information so you can connect all the pieces together. Because a lot of these companies, and Stellar is one of them, they don't just come out and tell you everything. They drop hints because they're talking to these big companies, really. So they don't want to kick off FOMO just yet. Not just Stellar. A lot of these companies don't want FOMO just yet, right? For whatever reason. But they're talking to these companies because they know what they want. And make no mistake about it, Stellar, I said this for years, Stellar's going after the big money. Wisdom Tree, big money. Franklin Templeton, big money. Bankhaus Vonderhaet, big money. United Nations, big money. No matter what they're trying to do, they're moving big money capital. They got the White House calling them. Come on now. And that's just a few. They're in Africa, in countries that are deep in gold, trying to get everybody to do these mobile payments. That's big, big money. And what are they talking about over there in Africa? Tokenization of everything. So, got to connect these pieces together to see where the future is going. It's not advice, not financial advice, just my humble opinion. This is how I'm looking at it. Let's keep going. They're dropping bombs here. This is more specifically the network's ability to connect the fiat economy. Exactly what they were talking about in that New York article about multi-trillions coming. As for the end users, they now have options to hold their value in more places than ever. Let's just take that comment to be specifically about Stellar. What are the places to hold their value in? One of them, sure, USDC. That's going to bring a lot of traffic to us. Great. Also XLM, where they can make real money if that price goes up, when that price goes up. Listen, it says, thanks to increase access to previously gated financial services. And another thing, like I said, when you have even the biggest bankers coming out, ringing the alarm about de-dollarization, right? Have you seen those posts in the members only section? Okay. So multiple big bankers and powerful people talking about de-dollarization. If that's going to happen, then how do you use USDC around the world? But Stellar has never strayed from the path of having the unbanked and the banked and the big companies and the regular people sending money across their network, which has a global reach, correct? So then what do you use to send that capital? Can we say XLM? Yes. And then if XLM has to be used in that way, and it has to be forced. That's going to be forced. Why do I say that? Because if the rest of the world is dumping dollars and you can't use USDC everywhere, and you can't use their tokenized euro everywhere, the digital euro, whatever that is, that Circle has. It's like USDC is like Euro coin. I don't know, whatever it is. You can't use that either. You have to use XLM. Stellar's not going to stop and say, hey, now you can't use the Stellar network because you can't use USDC. But so now going back around, if they have to use XLM, then what does it do to that price? I'm telling you, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. The future is looking very bright. You know, the way that I'm looking at it, Stellar is very, this is why I always say sneaky, sneaky Stellar. Let's keep going. It says, why do cash to crypto and off ramps matter? People living in cash-based economies often don't have access to bank cards or accounts, but having access to cash to crypto on and off ramps enable them to hold digital assets. Wait a minute. Wait. Where did they get the liquidity from? Listen, don't say USDC. We witnessed a bank run on USDC this spring. And they had to shut everything down on Coinbase, correct? So USDC doesn't have that kind of liquidity for to move capital around the world, right? So where did they get that? Where did they access the liquidity from? I think XLM has lots of liquidity and can generate even more liquidity now than it ever has. XLM and XRP are so closely related, and you know why. What is the origination of XLM, right? What is it based on, right? So it can create a huge liquidity pool. You throw in there automated market makers, all of these different things that have not seen their potential. I mean, the future is insane, insanely bright. I mean, you know, I have a particular way of speaking, but you know, when I say insane, I mean something brilliant, grandiose, big, right? Just my humble opinion once again. All right. But I get excited thinking about this. I'm seeing what I'm taking this in, and it seems like that's what they're conveying to me. Let's keep reading this here. It says making it viable for them to access financial services such as P2P payments, cross-border payments, and value storage. Of course, listen, they keep talking about P2P, but it's like a guise at this point. It's like a smokescreen, because what is Franklin Templeton doing? What is Wisdom Tree going to be doing? That's big money. What are these banks that Stella's working with going to be moving? This is B2B stuff here. This is big money stuff. It says, but to date, these on and off ramps have been largely deprioritized piece of the global financial infrastructure. So the state of cash to crypto on and off ramps. To better understand how large a role on and off ramps play in today's financial systems, SDF commissioned the block to conduct data-driven research quantifying cash to crypto access worldwide. So what they're saying is they're going after that inaccessible money like we knew that they would, right? They're trying anything. You need offline payments, we have it. You need cash, we have it. You need it quick, you need liquidity, we have it. They're trying to leave no stone unturned, no reason why people can't flood Stellar with their money in the future when the time is right. That's exactly what they're doing. They're going. Like, it's very interesting that Ripple's catchphrase used to be all the money, but it really looks like Stellar's the one going after all the money. Think about that for a minute. You got the White House calling them, that's at the top, right? United Nations, that links, that's at the top. Banks, then you have businesses using Stellar, then you have regular people using Stellar. They're going after all, I won't say all the money, but they're going after as many different sectors that move capital as possible. So I'm going to leave that one there. We have a few more articles. Let's get over here to this next one here. All right. So now a little bit of Quant news. All right. Let me scroll down here. So this is a tweet that was put out by Quant Network. It says banking giants such as JP Morgan and Citi want to supercharge Wall Street by tokenizing assets on a blockchain. So now you had Stellar talking about something like this, right? Now you now you have Quant talking about this when we just covered an article yesterday that was talking about a multi-trillion-dollar Wall Street earthquake is coming. How many companies have to talk about this? Now, I don't know the timeline on this, but it seems like it's coming pretty soon. Let's keep going. It says, quote, this technology has the capability to revolutionize financial market infrastructure, unquote, says Umar Farouk of JP Morgan. Now, wait a minute. Quant is saying this, and actually they have another tweet here that goes along with it. Quant is saying this. You think that they haven't reached out to a cadre of companies on Wall Street? You think they're not attempting to do that? They just wrote a whole article on this for no reason at all. Come on now. And I'm not saying they've written a bunch of articles on this actually, but there's another tweet that followed that one. This is why I'm saying this. It says today, this is from Quant Network also. Today, real estate tokenization is in its infancy. But the market is growing at a rapid 19.8% CAGR each year. Experts are anticipating a boom at BCG, for example. Get this number, more trillions. At BCG, for example, predicts $3.2 trillion of home equity will be held in tokens by 2030. What happens to Quant's price if it gets a modicum of that? What happens to Quant's price if it gets a little piece of that flowing across it? In addition to all of these hundreds of banks that they have a connection to. And it doesn't even take that much because of Quant's circulating supply. 14 million, lower circulating supply than Bitcoin. What does it do to that price? I'm expecting big things out of Quant. They're one of the tokens I keep my eye closest on because of his explosiveness. So things are looking great when it comes to Quant. I want them to stay hungry. They work harder than almost anyone. All right. So now we're going to move on from there to a little bit of Algorand news. Algorand continues to do well, right? Continue to do big things. This is from Victor Mapunga. And it says here, are you ready for a truly inclusive financial platform? It says hashtag FlexPay is how we are utilizing at FlexID's official digital identity platform, and at Algorand Foundation, we are building the financial and identity rails of the emerging world. Keep doing good, Algorand. Keep doing good. All right. They have a bright future. They're dominating in every possible way, significantly, right? So now let's move on here. I don't want to linger on that for too long. TheSun.com, and it's titled Chase Bank Outage. Down updates. So more bank problems. This is what I was talking about in the beginning of the video. Hundreds of Zelle and Chase users were unable to access their direct deposits on Tuesday. Like the last 3 months, there have been so many bank problems. Does it seem very strange to you, like it does to me? We've been covering banks for a few years, and sure, they've gotten hacked before, and we've seen things. We've covered a lot of information over these last few years. But the last 3 months have been mind-blowing, the amount of problems, including them getting hacked, including people's information, including social security numbers and phone numbers and addresses being stolen from certain banks, right? And now you have this. But here's what's significant about this. Zelle and FedNow are closely related. FedNow is just Zelle on steroids. So if Zelle can have these problems, then what's to say that FedNow wouldn't have these same problems? Don't get me wrong. FedNow has a lot of integrations with various blockchain companies, a few of them being Ripple partners, XRPL users. So I'll take their money, no problem. But I'm just saying we are in advance of them. We are superior in technology to them because of things like this. But let's read this little tidbit here. It says over 1,500 Chase customers reported issues with the bank to down detector yesterday at around 1 p.m. Eastern time, which, by the way, if you're using Zelle, make sure I can't tell you what to do, but if we're using Zelle, I would check on my deposits. I would check on my money that's over there or however that works. I'm not sure how that works, but I would check on it. It says a Chase spokesperson told the U.S. Sun, quote, we're working to restore full service to account transfers, Zelle payments, and bill payments. So if you're with Chase, I would also check. Not telling you what to do. I'm just putting that out there. That's what I would do. It says, quote, our customers can continue to use all other digital banking features. What? I would want my money. What am I going to use if you're taking a huge chunk of my capital? Like, why would I try to use anything else? There could be another problem. Then my capital could be lost into oblivion. Now I'm going to wait until you finish clearing up your problem. I don't know. This is, and on Wednesday morning, down detectors showed the number of reported problems with the banking app had plummeted. Well, not everybody even knows to go to down detector. So anyway, more problems with the banks, more, capital. And this is in addition to them freezing accounts and such like that at a variety of banks, which one of our esteemed subscribers let me know, hey, they were privy to some activity where an account got frozen as well. This is what they told me, right? So it's been verified by our esteemed YouTube family here, all right? So just be careful with these banks, but new financial system coming in hot. These banks are doing terrible. Once we're running free and we're setting up all of these wallets and the people can move capital around as though they had bank accounts, but they're being their own banks, we're going to dominate this system. This system is doing terrible. This is my humble opinion. It's all business banks, not personal, right? For the bankers that are watching, it's not personal. It's all business. So now, we're going to end off with a little bit of gold news. Gold is looking good. It was looking good. Did you just see what was going on? I think you did. All right. So this is from fxempire.com. All right. And this title, Gold Price Forecast. Firm ahead of Fed decision. Rate pause speculation. It says COMEX gold prices are higher amid thin trading conditions on Wednesday, although traders remain cautious ahead of the Fed's policy decision. It says here, the price action indicated some traders taking advantage of thin trading conditions. Broader markets anticipate an extended rate pause, but there's a possibility that the Fed officials could leave room for one more hike in September or November. Dollar and yields impact gold. The sensitivity of gold to rising interest rates was evident, with the potential for increased opportunity cost of holding non-yielding bullion. Despite this, the precious metal may still maintain its upward trend, considering the final phase of the Fed's tightening cycle. The dollar and the U.S. Treasury yields remain near their 2-week highs, weighing down on gold, which lacks interest-bearing returns. Additionally, traders are closely monitoring policy guidance from the European Central Bank and eagerly awaiting second quarter U.S. GDP data due on Thursday. Dovish Fed signal may already be priced in. Then they have another section here. Short-term outlook, cautious Fed-dependent trade. So technical analysis, let's read a little bit of that. COMEX gold is exhibiting a bullish tone as the current 4-hour price rose to $1,971.90, surpassing the previous 4-hour close at $1,966.10. The price trading above both the 204H and the 54H moving averages indicates an upward trend in the medium term, bolstering the positive sentiment. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. And like a lot of my subscribers say in the comment section, let's get to the money.